And now it's time for Leadership of the Leaf with Dice and Austin. Let's jump in with a cut and a light.
Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Leadership of the Leaf. I am Dice.
And I'm Austin.
Whoa, Mr. Austin!
Yes, sir.
Sir, what are you smoking?
Oh, I am smoking an Alec Bradley Black Market Esteli. Not the diamond, just the Esteli. This was the number 9 cigar of the year this last year, and earned a 93-point rating.
So it should be a very, very good cigar.
That's what that's what I'm hoping for. As always, there's not bad cigars. There's just better ones.
I've heard that somewhere before.
I don't know where I've heard that.
So I know the band on that one is pretty large. Yeah.
Yes, very large. Takes up like a good third of the cigar, if not a little bit more.
So did the band catch your eye for that one, or you just went for it?
The band. So I've seen this one before, and I like it. I like how it looks. It's like a shipping label, like you'd see on like an old box or something, where it's like getting transported out or whatever. And I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. And then I found a deal. On them for a 5-pack, and I said, well, I've been wanting to try them. It's well rated, being the number 9, so it's in the top 10. I said, why not just give it let's just give it a shot. So here it is. I'm giving it a shot, and everyone will get to know exactly what I think of this cigar. Hopefully it's a good one.
Okay. And you're pairing that with
an old fashioned.
Oh, a Hennessy old fashioned?
No, not a Hennessy old fashioned.
All right.
Come on. Everybody who listens to this knows what I drink. What do I drink? I drink bourbons, whiskeys, and scotches. I'm pairing it with a nice whiskey. It's made with Jim Beam. Hate on that as much as you want. I don't care. It tastes delicious. And it's oh so nutritious.
Who's going to hate on an old fashioned, regardless of what it's made with?
That's my thing. But people hate on it because they're like, oh, the rye ones are better, or you should have used rye whiskey, you should have used that whiskey, blah blah blah, should have used Jameson. Got it. I had Jim Beam is what I had. I used Jim Beam.
All right. I'm not mad at it.
I can't be mad at it either. It's delicious. What dice are you smoking?
All right. So I'm smoking a cigar by Illusion.
Ooh.
But I may pronounce the name wrong. Listeners, if I pronounce the name wrong, please hit me up.
Correct him. He's going to pronounce it wrong. So goddamn wrong.
Cigaris Privé? Cigaris Privé?
I'm going to let you go with it because I don't want to sound like more of a jackass trying to correct you and me be wrong too.
I'm going to just call it a Privy.
There you go. That we'll accept it. It's acceptable.
All right, perfect. Because I don't know how to pronounce it, so we'll just move forward.
Fair enough. And let's just assume you're pairing that with Hennessy.
That it is a Hennessy, but it's a slightly different Hennessy.
Ooh, what is it?
It's
white Hennessy white, Hennessy black.
Hennessy from Japan.
Ooh,
Cognac Fine Champagne.
Ooh, okay.
So for those that want to see the bottle, it'll be on Instagrams. It's a different bottle than most people normally see for Hennessy.
Yes, that's sounds interesting. I'm interested. I would love to taste that one. But I did just have a drink from Japan recently. Some soju.
Soju? With an apple sour or just
no?
Regular?
It was grapefruit.
Oh, okay.
It was really good. I'd never had soju before, and everyone told me to watch out. Hey, that's like drinking whiskey. Da, da, da. I was like, all right, whatever. You guys are dumb. Don't bore me with these details.
Where'd you get it from?
A buddy of mine actually brought it into work. Said he got it on his trip, and he said, I told him, I said I never had a bottle. And he said, oh well, if you've never had one, you've got to try it. And I said, well, I'm more than happy to try any alcohol that is free 99. That's my favorite price.
Well, I am a little experienced with soju, apple sour soju to be more correct. And the thing is it's not the same every single time. So one time you could just be getting a lot of apple juice or a lot of what you said you had, grapefruit juice.
Yeah.
And then the second time you could get something that's gonna fucking knock you in your ass. And once you mix that well enough, bad decisions are made.
I can believe it. I had I had the whole little green bottle.
Yeah.
And I was smoking it, and I had it. Me and the wife were out on the patio. We're playing some games, card games, whatever. Put the kid to bed. We're relaxing after a long week. I'm pouring it over my ice and enjoying it. And after the night was done, in the middle, because I got up to get more whiskey because I ran out of soju, I stood up and I was like, ooh, that hit just about like I thought it would. All right. I'm happy with this.
Yeah. I get off a bar stool and I'm like, yep, I'm sitting back down.
Yeah. Well, those times where you're like, I got to pee. I don't have to pee that bad.
Yeah, I'll just wait.
I'm just going to wait and drink some water.
Yes.
Or wait until I don't care about how drunk I am. Then I'll go to the bathroom. Stumble.
That's interesting. That's good stuff, sir. I'm glad you got to enjoy.
Yeah. No, it was a very eye-opening experience. I was excited to try it.
Very reasonably priced drink. Very reasonable.
Yeah. No, like I said, I was excited. Everyone told me about it, so I was excited to try it. But I think tonight we should talk about ash.
Oh, talk about that ash.
Yeah, that ash. Like, look at that ash. Oh my God, Becky.
Oh, so ash from the cigar. Let's see. Cigar. Carbon.
Yes.
Paper and tobacco burns, so it leaves the carbon.
Yep.
Water. The water is evaporating from the leaves, which gives us our ash.
Yeah.
And one thing I love to debate about when I go to cigar lounges is...
I love this topic.
Can you tell the quality of a cigar from the ash? Just from the appearance.
I can tell you about the quality of the tobacco.
So would that lead to the quality of the cigar? It's a very debatable topic, sir.
I would say no.
You say no?
Because
okay,
if you have enough, let's just use a scale of like 1 to 5, right? If you have enough lower half numbers, like 1s, 2s, and 3s, and you grind them into a cigar, they can produce a cigar that's operating at a 4 or 5 level, right?
Okay.
The same thing goes if you have like 3, 4, 5 tobacco leaves, quality wise, in the same cigar, and they're not blended well, you're not going to like that cigar. That quality of that cigar is not going to be good. The tobacco quality could be high, but it's all depending upon the taste of that tobacco. So I know that, when it's a little bit more whiter, fine ash, there's a lot, magnesium, a lot less magnesium in the tobacco, a lot less of those minerals, because the minerals don't burn. So that's what the minerals give it that gray color. So the whiter it is, the higher quality of soil, supposedly, that it's grown in. Again, I don't think that has anything to do with the quality of the cigar, because if you blend that stuff well enough, you're not going to notice that it's lower quality tobacco.
Okay, I see your point, and it is 100% very valid. But have you ever smoked a cigar that had a black ash?
I think I could say no on that one.
Majority of them has been gray or white. So,
right.
So, I mean, it's irrelevant now because my cigar ash isn't black, and I'm very confident yours isn't black. The next time you have a cigar that's a black ash, make a note of it, and then we will bring it up. Because I have a very funny feeling, like if you get a cigar with a black ash, it's not going to be a very good cigar. You will be looking for a better one.
I mean, agreed, but it goes back to that. It goes back to this whole price point thing, right? We talked about this price point before. So, if you're sitting there saying, okay, you're gonna get a Black Ash, and the price point is, let's say, $5 on that cigar.
Yeah.
But it tastes good. Versus a $15 cigar with a gray or white ash, and it doesn't taste as good, you're still going to buy that $5 cigar.
True, but I'm debating my argument, which is not a valid one because we don't have subject B to compare to subject A, is a Black Ash cigar. Now, next time I find one, I'll let you know and be like, we will smoke this cigar. I'll let you know so you can buy it, and we'll smoke that cigar on air. And then that way we can talk about the Black Ash. But as of right now, we don't have that. So my argument is very invalid, and you win this debate.
Okay, I'm just glad that I win. I like to be right.
Do you know some of the uses of an ash?
Yes, I know that it can be made to make paints, like a gray paint. If you mix it with like poppy seed oil, you can do that. You can also use it obviously as a fertilizer. It's ash. It's organic material that's burned, so it leaves behind those fertilizers, the potassium, the calcium, all that sort of stuff. There's debate, I know, on using ash for the fertilizer because of how it's burned and everything else. So, I don't know if I'd use it for plants. I don't think it would hurt the grass necessarily. But if you're like, I'm going to use this stuff to make my particular plant better, I don't know that it will do that. I'm just saying, like, I'd throw it in the grass and I don't think you're going to find it hurt. I do know that there's a tooth powder can be made with chalk.
Yes.
Yeah,
I did a little research on that because when I saw tooth powder, I was like, tooth powder? Are we serious? This is like the 2022 we're talking about tooth powder. So you can buy tooth powder from Amazon or wherever you buy crap like that from, but it's literally like dehydrated toothpaste mixed with like bones and shells and other crap that they used in ancient times to get it like gritty powder, just to pretty much
to clean your teeth.
To clean your teeth, yes. And I'm pretty sure over time they added like mints and all that other crazy stuff.
Well, yeah,
to give that freshy breath.
Could you imagine how bad it tasted?
Be like, what are you doing with those cigar ashes? Brushing my teeth.
What?
Like, are you crazy? What's in that cigar you smoked?
Tooth powder.
When you didn't know?
Fight me.
I'm not fighting you. You use tooth powder.
You use tooth powder. What the fuck uses tooth powder anymore? Yeah. No, it was reading on the show notes and then doing a little bit of research myself. I was like, tooth powder? Like, I understand baking soda, the Arm & Hammer, use it to clean your teeth. Okay, fine. That's basically, what is it, hydrogen peroxide or whatever.
Whatever the compound is.
Yeah, to clean stuff. So I get that. That's supposed to remove stains from your teeth. The Arm & Hammer makes a fucking toothpaste based off of their recipe. So, I get that. I get that aspect. But, cigar ash? Yeah. Really?
Well, they probably have plenty of it. Who knows?
Back in the olden days, I guess so. Well, listen, it's 2022. There's people like, bro, I eat ass. I don't care about ash. All right.
Yeah,
I guess not.
More merry for you, I guess. I don't know. I'm not down.
Listen, you're talking a lot of shit over there. All I gotta say is you need to use some tooth powder.
Okay, before we get deep down into it, what's the proper way of disposing of your cigar? We've talked about it before. One quick little rehash.
Obviously an ashtray. That's what it's for. Obviously.
And of course,
you don't want to create a fire hazard in the shed or something and make it like a fire shed. I don't know. I'm just saying, people have said this before. I don't know. But you want to make sure that once it's burned, it's actually extinguished, and then you dispose of the contents properly.
correct. Only you can prevent ash fires.
Ash fires. Ass fires?
Ash. This is definitely a 21 and older show today.
What are we talking about? Are we talking about the game, or are we talking about practice?
Practice?
Oh, man. All right. So, ash performs actually a very important function of the cigar. I don't know if you know this. I had to think about this one because I was like, that's bullshit. And then I was like, no, that actually makes sense. So, ash insulates the ember of a cigar. So when you have a good ash and you set it down very carefully as to not knock the ash off, it will help insulate your ember and keep your cigar lit longer. So those people who are sitting there constantly ashing and they're like, my cigar's going out all the time, I don't fucking understand. All right, well, maybe you should try keeping a little bit of ash on there so it has that cherry has a little bit of insulation on there. Just saying.
Because ash 100% influences the burn temperature.
You're talking crazy.
With your burn temperature being at a nice level, it allows the aromas of the tobacco to develop better, and you will enjoy your cigar, in my opinion, that much better. Everyone is different.
Now, let me ask you this. Since taste is a lot of aroma, and we inhale through the ash of a cigar, unless you're a Tennessee player who decided to light the wrong end of a cigar, which just made me giggle so damn hard.
See that?
After they beat Alabama, there's a picture out there. People look it up. That motherfucker lit the wrong end of a cigar, and you can't mistake it because it's burning right next to the band.
Yeah, I had to zoom in a little just to make sure I saw what I saw.
Yeah, I know. I sent you the picture. We were just dying laughing over it, and you were like, "Oh, this motherfucker's." I can't help it. He's a college kid. I get it. Not everyone's intelligent. That's why they play football, right? Do you think that the ash acts as somewhat of a filter for the air coming through the cigar? Like if you were to knock the ash off, inhale, develop a thicker ash, inhale, does that taste differently? Or does it change so gradually over time that you actually don't notice that taste?
I do notice. If I have a longer ash, the development of flavor in my opinion, is better because it's holding more of it within the cigar and not getting as much oxygen to dilute the aroma and the flavor profile.
Fair enough. I 100% agree that the longer the ash, it helps insulate everything, and it does act as a little bit of a filter, so it gets you a little bit of a different taste and allows those flavors and the aromas definitely to develop better. So we talked a little bit at the beginning that the color of the ash indicates what type of minerals are in the tobacco.
Yeah, when you was going over that, I was like, I agree with you, but I knew we was getting to that part of the segment, so I didn't want to carry forth until we hit like a little of the smaller ones first. So I agree that mineral content does affect the flavor of a cigar.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely does. There's those cigars that I've smoked that are lower quality, and they just taste cheap.
Yeah.
They taste cheap, and it's just, and I don't know how else to explain it or how better to explain it, but it just, man, I'm like, man, I paid $3 for the cigar, and it tastes cheap. Like I paid $3 for the cigar.
Right. Well, was the ash white ash normally indicates what you were saying, the rich nutrient soil. But in my opinion, white ash also determines that the burning of it, the combustion of my cigar is actually going well.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree with that. And speaking of the burning of your cigar, are you in your first third?
Oh, yes, I am definitely in my first third. Oh, I'm laughing.
Like that segue.
Yeah, no, but I'm laughing because my first. My God. All right, I'll go real quick because
Go for it.
Whatever the fuck, man. Cayenne pepper. Fucking cayenne pepper.
Spicy.
Yes. And I don't know if you caught it when I first lit it, but I was like, oh my God. I'm not a cayenne pepper fan. I don't put it on my foods. And there's cedar.
Cayenne pepper and cedar. Okay. I'm getting a lot of earth and leather.
Sounds a lot better than cayenne pepper.
There's a sweetness there that I can't put my finger on. Maybe raisin, cocoa.
I like raisin.
It's a very under like muted, but I could just taste just a touch of sweetness.
Okay. Prune?
I wouldn't say prune.
Okay. More raisin.
More raisin. I'm not a prune person, anyways. I'm not. Do I look like I'm fucking 60?
Oh, stop it.
How many prunes you eat today?
Well, you want me to answer the first question or the second one?
I want you to answer the second one because it's going to make you sound a whole lot worse than the first one would.
I have never eaten a prune.
You fucking liar.
I haven't.
Okay. So you know the bright white ash. You know, it's obviously got a lot of calcium, magnesium from the soil. But if it's like flaky, it's almost too much magnesium in that soil. Cuban tobacco usually produces a grayer ash. The cool thing about Ecuador or Costa Rica, I think it's Ecuador, there's like 4 different distinct growing regions, so you can kind of get the differences like all in one country. But it's just, you know, it's that soil, that rich soil. It's down there near the equator, where the rainforests are. Obviously that soil is rich.
Yeah. Well, that's where it goes to where it's the darker or black ash. It's going to indicate that the minerals in the soil isn't as rich.
Right.
Which I think is going to burn differently, which is going to give you a different amber when it comes to your cigar. And I believe it's going to filter in differently than if it had the white ash. And it's the reason why I was saying a darker ash is going to, in my opinion, is going to be a less favorite cigar.
No, and I agree with you. Usually the darker the ash, the more acidic that taste is. Or ammonia, like you get some of that ammonia taste from a cigar. Usually that's the darker ash that is not as minerally rich in the tobacco. You know, it's not the greatest. But you know, you have the long, so then there's the, you know, you get to the fillers, right? So you get the long filler, you get the short filler. The long filler generally produces an ash that is still fairly strong even after it burns. That's why you can stand a cigar up. That's usually, and that's why people say if a cigar could stand on its ash, it's a good cigar. Because most of the time in past histories, the long filler has always been the higher quality of cigar.
Yeah, because of course, if it's short and choppy, which is, I mean, physics, your cigar ash is going to be flaky and pokey outy and decides to do whatever it wants to instead of staying in that nice cigar-ish shape.
Right. Yeah, you're not stacking dimes.
So, if you was going to stack dimes or not stack dimes, how often do you ash your cigar?
So I tend to ash about 2, 3, 4 inches of ash. build up. And the only reason I do that is because that's usually around the time that I go to take a puff and all the ash falls in my lap.
Yeah, that's exactly what normally I don't even think about ashing until it's on my shirt. I'm like, look, I should have ashed. I should have ashed like fucking 2 minutes ago.
Yeah.
But I have noticed someone that ashes frequent, like they just constantly ashing. And hey, buddy, hey, how's it going? You enjoying your cigar? Yeah. Do you smell cigarettes by chance?
Mm-hmm.
Why, yes,
Yeah.
I do.
Oh.
I can tell.
Or they go, no, but I used to.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I can see. Did you know? And then you get to talk to them about that. Honestly, it's best to lay the cigar in the bed of the ashtray and just let it fall off when it's ready to do so. I prefer the roll method, where you have an ashtray that's like a bowl shape, and you roll the cigar along the side at an angle. You roll it along the side, and that knocks your ash off. You never want to like whack it on the side, tap it on the side, be like bam, bam, bam. It's not a fucking cigarette. If the ash doesn't want to come off, maybe keep smoking it, and the ash will eventually want to come off.
If I pay attention, I would like tap it with my finger, one of the loose fingers on the end, not bamming it, not trying to damage anything, but just a slightly like tap. And if the ash falls, yes,
gentle tap.
If it falls, cool. If it don't fall, I'm good to smoke more.
Yeah. I've gotten into the habit where I just do the roll, because I tend to notice that if I tap and it doesn't fall off, I'll go take a puff and then it like falls in my lap. I'm like, I must have loosened the ash. Like I just didn't tap it enough. The reason we say don't bang your cigar, don't tap it, don't flick it. One, if you flick your ash, you're an ash hole. But the reason we say that is you don't want to bang your cigar, because that can create breaks in the wrapper, in the binder, and then you get an airflow problem, and then it's a smoking problem, and then you start bitching about the quality of the cigar, when in fact, you're the one who ruined it your own damn self.
Correct. So hopefully you bought two and learned your lesson.
I highly doubt it. But the further down the cigar burns, the higher the temperature of the smoke, right? It has less to travel up the cigar, so you're going to get higher air temperature. That's why people like nub it, and you get all that burst of hot air and smoke into your mouth. You need to let the ash stand on there longer as the cigar gets smaller. It's going to give you more of a filter. More of that air has to come in before it hits that ember and then come into your mouth. It'll give you a better smoking experience.
So depending on the placement of the leaves when your cigar was made is going to determine your ash structure.
Ass structure? Is this thing been going to the gym?
Ass. It's been doing stairs. So
they're doing a lot of squats.
if it's loosely rolled, it's going to produce ash that easily falls off. That just
weird.
Makes sense. Just makes sense.
You make too much sense. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. Yeah. And densely rolled cigar produces a firm ash, which you can then stand the cigar on the ash if you're very careful. I have sent you pictures of myself doing this. And I've done it in the past. Then there's people who also have the ash competitions, right?
Yeah.
So they choose a cigar and they try to get one that's densely rolled, long filler, and that they know it's good quality product, because they want that ash to stay on there as long as possible and have basically the entire cigar be ash when they're nubbing it.
Basically. I don't play those games.
Nope. That sounds like an easy way to get ash on the crotch. And not the good kind.
Drop that ash in my lap, girl. Drop that ash.
There you go. Jeez, weird. 21 and older, people. 21 and older.
We talked about blends. Of course, different mixtures of tobacco is going to be significant in the shape of your ash. talk
Right.
about long filler, short filler.
Yeah, well, if you get the volato, which is the tobacco from the lower part of the plant, it's going to give you that high mineral content, right? It's closer to the soil. That means when the plant was drawing up nutrients, guess which leaves fucking got it first? Weird. The Secco and the Viso, there's Secco and Viso. They come from the middle section of the plant. It burns a little bit less well, but it's more aromatic. And then, of course, you have the Ligero, which is the top part. And it usually burns like shit, but it gives your cigar strength. This is where your Maduros are made, your Oscuros. They don't burn well. That's why you have the wrapper with a low priming temperature that's wrapped around a filler with high priming temperature, and it makes it all even. It's weird how this whole thing works.
And that's why you become a master blender.
Hey!
Because I can see me messing that up royally.
Facts, big facts.
I want a full cigar of Ligero. Give me my cigar.
No,
it didn't fucking burn.
There are the master blenders have smoked a pure Ligero cigar. They'll roll that tobacco and they'll smoke just that Ligero to get just the flavor of that, and they go, okay, this tastes like pepper and caramel and
fucking
all
cayenne
these,
pepper.
Sure,
Asshole.
all those things, and then they smoke just the Secco or the Viso or the Volato, and they'll get those different flavor notes, and they go, okay, I want it from this and this and this and this. They're up, and then they blend it all together, and like, here's a cigar, and they smoke it, and they're like, this tastes delicious. I did a wonderful job. Make it like this from now on. And then the company goes, okay. So there are obviously some problems when you get ash that has issues.
Right. And I know we went over this before.
We have.
But, I mean, we can go over it again. Probably a little quicker this time. Doesn't matter. People listen at different episodes. And if you catch this one, we're going to talk about what is wrong with that ash.
It's flabby.
Back to the squats.
Go to the Stairmaster, motherfucker. All right, so if you get a canoe, which is usually a burn down one side, and it just looks like you took like a jet flame down one side of your cigar, and the rest of it's still staying the same. Usually, the roller didn't place the Ligero exactly in the center of the cigar when making the bundle, so it's just to the outside. And since it's a lower priming temperature, it makes a canoeing effect. There is a way you have to slow down, and sometimes you have to touch up and relight your cigar every so often to make sure everything is burning at the same temperature. And then you also get you can get that tunneling effect. If they used a Volato wrapper or a higher priming temperature as the wrapper and lower priming temperatures as the filler, what'll happen is you suck in all that air and ignite that ember that you got going on at the end of your cigar. And what that does is it burns out your filler, but leaves the binder and the wrapper alone, and you get this tunnel effect, and it really fucking sucks.
Yeah. Another issue. I think maybe I had this one time. The conical crater, where it looks kind of like a crown. But the Secco is used instead of the Volato as the binder and the wrapper. The cigar burns correctly as the cone of the center, but the ash protrudes more on the outside, and that's caused because of the not burning as quickly as the outside, which is going to leave you like this crown-shaped, crater-looking
pyramid shape.
It just sucks.
It does. But then you also get the great thing of just getting a nice straight burn. You get your burn line that's crisp. It's razor thin. Everything's wonderful. And that's a good cigar. Sometimes you get a straight burn, and that's sometimes because they did short filler. They do chopped tobacco, and then everything burns evenly because it's all sprinkled throughout, and nothing's really long fillered out, so nothing has a chance to move because it's all mixed together in a blender. Weird.
Well, I think a better burn, in my opinion, is it's almost like a dome shape.
Yep.
That's where everything is like burning perfectly. The Ligero is burning slower, and it leaves like a dome-shaped cigar ash behind, and everything is burning just as you described earlier, as in almost a perfect burn.
Yep. I got a little bit of a pyramid ash going on right now, which is fine. That also could be caused by puffing on it too much, because then I'm now igniting the wrapper and the binder too much, and I'm not letting that long filler get up to temperature before I take a puff.
Yeah, you've been talking. You're trying to keep it lit. I get it.
Yeah, but I'm trying to slow down and enjoy my cigar. And my drinky drink. But
which is a good drink. Good drink.
Absolutely. So we talked about that ash.
Was that enough talking for you so we can get to our second third, or you're not there yet?
I'm not quite there. I'm getting pretty close. But we talked about the uses, disposal, what the color of the ash means, different problems of the ash, firmness, everything else. But I think we take a break. When we come back, we'll talk about a high performance team and how to achieve a high performance team, or how to form a high performance team. And we'll also talk about our second third when we get back.
All right.
Don't forget, we need to follow the podcast so we know when new episodes drop. And welcome back to Leadership of the Leaf. So before we took a break, we were talking about ash and everything, problems that could go wrong with it, colors, all that wonderful stuff. Now we're going to talk about how to form a high performance team. But before we get into that, Dice, I want to know your second third.
My second third, sir, for the love of everything, the cayenne pepper is over. It is over, sir.
I'm so happy for you.
So, what brings out right now from this smoke is a sweetness and a saltiness. Now, I can't quite place the sweetness, but the saltiness, if I had to say, is from, let's say, a roasted peanut. Like you used to put a peanut, take all the salt off, and then spit out the peanut. That's what I'm getting for saltiness.
Okay.
You never done that?
No. I just usually just chew the fucking peanut.
Well, next time you do it, just try it one time, and you'll be like, "Oh, that's how that cigar tastes."
Yeah. But so my draw is tight. I've actually had to use my cigar tool to try to loosen up this draw. But I'm getting dough and a little bit of like raisin. Maybe raisin toast?
Yeah, raisin toast, huh? Got it. Raisin toast.
If anybody else listens to Cigar Authority, they're going to die laughing at that one.
Right. Think of, you stole that from them. Well, it's an actual cigar flavor, so did we steal it?
It's something doughy, and it's like sweetness on the back end. And it tastes like if you took a grape that was just plucked off the vine, dehydrated it with all the dirt and everything else still on there, and then ate that like, with like some just straight up like Italian bread dough, like the center part of an Italian bread. Yeah, that's what I get.
Freshly made raisin bread dough.
That's and that's why I'm like, it's not quite toast, but that's kind of what I get. But I digress. All right, high performance team. So we both know a well-performing team or a high-performance team is not made by accident. There's no just lucking into this. 1 in 100, you luck into a high performance team. 1 in 100.
Okay.
Usually, a leader picks out their team for specific things and uses those characteristics of each individual to encourage a team that performs at a very high level, and they harness that power of that team to do whatever they need. Now, there are those times where you get thrown into a situation, your team was picked for you or was picked by the previous leader, and you just lucked into a high performance team. Hey, go buy a fucking lottery ticket that day if that happens. But there's about 5 ways to do a high performance team. And the first one is to get to know your team and help them to get to know each other. That's why every single time I've been in any sort of team, there's always that stupid fucking day of icebreakers. I hate that day. I hate it because usually it's forced fun or it's forced, like, get to, share with us your fears and your strengths. Like, go fuck yourself. Like, don't force me to do anything. If I want to share, I'll share with somebody, but like, whatever. But the big thing is you got to know your people. You got to know what their strengths are. You got to know what their weaknesses are. You got to get out from behind your fucking desk and know your people, know their family, a little bit about their upbringing, figure out where their point of view is. Are they family oriented? Are they task oriented? Are they business oriented? What are they oriented towards? And use this information to have a better understanding about their strengths, motivations, and learn how to draw out their best.
Yeah, you definitely want to figure out where are they confident at? Where are they less confident? What are they more competent to do? Mm-hmm. That way you can adjust your leadership styles to figure out what suits the teams better, what suits your needs better for a high-performing team. Making sure to check in with the team members to really see if they're meshing well. Just to check up on them, how are you doing? What are you doing? Just to kind of engage exactly how the team is forming. Like, who's the outcast? Who's being left out? Who sucks at life? That way you can kind of maneuver and manipulate the attitudes as they need to be.
Right. You don't want that... you don't want that group project that you always got stuck in at school. And you don't want to have that one person that's doing the entire group project while everybody else is just slacking off. Yeah. Or that, you got that one person that disappears for the entire project only to come back at the end and be like, hey, sorry, I was absent. Can I do anything? You don't want to find that out at the end and be like, yeah, this was a great job. I'm going to use you guys together as a team. The dude who did all the work is like, fuck. You don't want that. It's
important that each team member that you utilize them to connect the dots. You want all the dots to connect. You don't want that one guy off to nowhere. Then he comes back and you're like, this dot was never connected.
Yeah, like how the fuck were you? And usually the team leader, if they are connected, can see right through that person, and they're like, they're giving the brief, and that dude's standing over there like fucking licking the window and being like, "What are you doing?" And he's like, "Oh, I don't really have anything to say." Like, this is your project that you were working on for months, and you don't have anything to fucking say. Oh, just figured they covered everything. It's like, you didn't have any fucking idea this presentation was today, did you? Oh no, I did. That's why I showed up.
That's all you know.
That's all you know. Got it. All right. So you sucked.
Okay. When you have that team and you connect to those dots and your team is there and you pass the forming stage, you want to make sure what good looks like. You want to have a very clear picture of what good looks like.
Yeah. And you want to reward it when you see it on a regular basis. You can't just give them throw them a bone every once in a while. You got to make sure you know what the team is good and you have a clear picture of what good looks like. And then you acknowledge that good performance. You give them a feedback. Hey, guys, this is great work. Keep it up. Hey, let's do another checkup. and just I want to see where you guys are at. Send me whatever you got in a week. I don't need to meet with you guys. I just want to check in on your progress. Real quick, real informal, no big deal. Don't. The other thing that I also hate, this is a bonus thing. Don't make everything a fucking meeting. Do it through email. Just throwing that out there. Not everything needs to be a meeting.
One of the ways to get feedback is using the SBI method, the SBI rule, which is situation, behavior, and impact. Outline the situation you're referring to. Discuss the precise behavior that you want to address, and highlight the impact of the person's or the team's behavior. Doing this will highlight exactly what good looks like for the team. It actually focuses on the feedback that is warranted and needed, so everyone has a very clear, concise picture of the situation, the behavior, and the impact of what was so good about the team. What are you rewarding them for?
Right. And don't pass up an opportunity to tell that team, hey, good job. And call out the performers. Hey, Joe, you did really well on the entire outline for this entire project. That's really great work. And Sally, you did good making sure Joe didn't miss any of the fucking details. I really like how you guys work together on that. And then, hey, Mark and Vanessa, you guys need to fucking step your game up because you don't seem like you're really that attached to this team. So, maybe step it up.
And see, everything you just named and listed there, you pointed out the situation, the behavior, and the impact. These guys had an impact. You guys lacked impact. Your behavior is not what I'm looking for. Your behavior is exactly the direction I need to go. And the whole situation pulls everything together. So good on you, sir.
That's what I do. Like I said, I like being right. Yeah. You also want to let your team own what you want them to solve. They need to have ownership in the problem, though. Whatever they're trying to solve, they own that problem. They own that solution. Because when your team face a problem, it's an opportunity to help them learn. So your natural instinct may be to jump in and solve the problem for them. And that can get results, but it's going to stretch you out. It's going to wear you thin, and then you're going to sit there and be left wondering, why the fuck do I even have a team in the first place when I'm just doing when I have to do all the work for them? Are you, take a look at the person in the mirror. Are you literally stepping back and letting them solve their own problems?
I see that generally in younger teams and younger leaders, because everybody wants to solve the problem. Nobody wants to leave an unsolved problem on the table, where you and we probably can go in and take care of it almost immediately. Right. I can't believe you guys didn't even think of this, but you want them to get in that storming phase. You want them to go ahead and, put great minds together and connect those dots to get the situation and behavior and impact that you're looking for.
And I would also say, let them kind of figure it out. Don't abandon them and throw them to the wolves. If they come to you and say, hey, boss, we're having a real tough time. We've come up with these solutions. We'd like your input. Maybe a little bit of your feedback, and could you share with us some of your wisdom? Sure. Let me assess the situation. Let's show me what you got, and maybe I can offer a few ideas that might help you in the direction that you want to go. I like to sit there and go, hey, look, let's explore these options, but we got to keep in mind that the customer wants this, well, they want X, they want Y, whatever the case is. And then so when you combine that with the feedback that you're giving them, when they say, hey, here's what we have, and it's a pile of nuts, and you're like, okay, I need you to turn those nuts into bread. Okay, how? Okay, well, have you thought about grinding them into a flour type thing? And they're like, oh, see, we were just gonna throw them in a bake and just bake them, and we weren't thinking to put them in a flour and stuff. Okay, well, maybe you should try something along those lines. Something along those lines where you're not solving the problem for them. You just, hey, have we considered this? Oh yeah, that's I didn't think of that. Sometimes a lot of those things will just get you that commitment and not just agreement. They'll, oh, hey, the boss actually like had an idea, and then they run with it, and then you just take a step back and you go, and you're like, I'll check in with you guys next week. All right, thanks, boss. Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, doing stuff like that definitely solidifies that commitment of that team for whatever project. It solidifies that commitment for that team for whatever company or business. And you did contribute to the solution, but you gave them just the idea to run with. I mean, there's nothing worse than a whole group that's just being a yes man.
Yep. Yeah, I actually had just this problem. I think just last week, a bunch of my guys were having a problem. They said, "Hey, boss, we can't connect these two ducts," and it was just air duct. And I said, "Okay, I see the problem. Okay." And then I said, we just don't have enough space to work up in this area. And I said, okay. Why don't you disconnect it from over here and see if that might solve your problem? And they go, I said, that's a bigger area to work out of, right? And they're like, yeah. And I said, so why don't you try doing that? And then that would solve that problem. And then you have a bigger area to work on and get some leverage to be able to move those ducts together and connect that. And they're like, that's a great idea. And I just walked away. I said, cool, man. Glad I could help. I walked away. Not an hour later, and this had been a problem they'd been working on for 7 hours straight. And then not an hour later, they're like, hey, we got it finished. Cool, man. Glad I could help. They're like, yeah, your suggestion, spot on. It was great. I'm like, good to know.
Well, that effort that you just described, it also builds trust within your team.
Yeah.
So sometimes you got to step back and just let the team work. That way you build trust in the team, and the team is eventually they're going to build trust in you, because as a high priority as a leader, that's what you want. You want a trustworthy team.
Mm-hmm. Well, and the thing is, though, is, for me, especially when you're coming in and you're either a new leader or it's a new team, something along those lines, they may question, usually sort of during that, there's the forming stage, the storming stage, and then the norming stage, and then the performing stage, right? The team forms, then they storm, right? They argue and bicker with each other. Then they set their norms of how they're going to act around each other, and then they perform that task. So usually in that storming phase, what I have seen is they will question a leader that they don't have trust in. So if they ask you for help and you just say, go figure it out on your own, they have no trust in you. And then they're going to go, why do we even have this person as a leader?
Yeah.
Why are they even here?
Our leader's incompetent just as we are.
Yeah. Like, well, nobody can figure this out. Why are we even here? And then performance goes way down, and then you get yelled at by your boss, and it just sucks, because if you don't build that trust, you go and just throw an idea out there, not solve the problem, just throw an idea out there and let your team run with it, then what are you really doing? Are you leading that team, or are you just a member of that team?
Well, I do know a lot of teams, once they get to their norming and they want to start doing the performing, they kind of start asking questions like you said, and they want to know the bigger picture. But sometimes the bigger picture can't be revealed at the very beginning, because you don't want to overwhelm the team. And maybe it's just not in their best interest to know the bigger picture yet. But I guarantee if you have a high performing team, over a length of time, the bigger picture will soon be revealed to them, to where they're like, I trust this guy. I see the direction we're trying to go. And then the whole team as a whole is going to come together just to unite, just to get that bigger picture resolved.
Right. And it helps, because even if they don't necessarily, they're like, I don't see it. I don't see that picture that you're seeing, boss. I don't necessarily agree with that big picture, or something along those lines. If they have trust in you, they're going to go, I don't see it, but I trust that you are not leading us in a bad direction. So I'm going to continue performing the way I need to solve that problem, to get us to that goal, because I'm trusting that you're leading us to greener pastures.
Yeah, essentially what's march them off a cliff, or I'm not going to march them off a cliff, however that saying goes.
Right, because if they have the trust in you and they do everything correct, and you reveal that big picture to them, and they kind of either they don't see it or they do or whatever, but they have that trust in you that you're not gonna fuck them over. You can kind of help the team uncover each other's uncover each other's weaknesses or strengths and differences to work out ways to capitalize on those strengths and weaknesses and differences. Because if everyone thought the same, we'd be in a world of hurt. We would still be back in the Stone Age. There'd be nothing.
Yeah, because once the team works out their strengths, their weaknesses, their differences, not only they're going to perform better, everyone's going to be more engaged. They're going to uncover what each team member's strengths are, and they're going to assess each activity and bring forth enjoyment and be successful.
Right. And over time, having the others train and discover the areas that need more practice, they're going to trust each other more. They're going to cover each other's weaknesses, and they're going to have more trust in you. And then that team's going to perform more. And then they know that they could solve. Once that first problem is solved, they're going to go, "Yep, this is great. We can do this. Give us the next challenge, boss. We got it. We got you. We're going to make sure everything's good to go."
All right. Now, to put it in perspective to where majority of people can kind of see or understand, of course, I'm a basketball guy. You like basketball. I love basketball. You can look at the different basketball teams throughout history. You look at the dynasties that was there, the genetic makeup of the teams. You can clearly see who's the leader of the team. You can clearly see the high performance of the team. You can clearly see which coaches just sit there and let the team go, to which coaches are on the sideline just yelling and throwing their clipboard.
Yeah, so I actually just brought this up the other day. I'm an Oklahoma City Thunder fan, and
I will hold it against you.
Thanks. And we had after Kevin Durant left and James Harden left and everybody, we got this coach Billy Donovan, who is now coaching, I believe, the Chicago Bulls. And I never really liked the guy as a coach. I didn't think he was bad, but he was very stuck in his ways. And his rotations, to the minute, every team knew what rotation he was going to go with to the minute, because he would call timeout, switch that. Oh, it was 6 minutes in to the second quarter. I need to call timeout and I need to swap my team in. And he would swap it. And every single time there was a whole new rotation on the floor. And it was just, that was his rotation. Nothing more, nothing less. He was very stuck in his ways. And I didn't like it, because then people knew exactly how to guard that rotation. Hey, those people on the floor, all right, now let me switch up my team and make sure that I got I can cover their strengths, and now I'm going to exploit their weaknesses.
Yeah.
And I was always very upset with it, because I said, why are we going with the same rotation? Change it up. Move people around. Put something else out there on the floor that nobody has seen yet, and just trust the team members to accomplish the goal of winning the fucking game.
Correct. A good example of a strong leader or a coach for a team would be Phil Jackson. If you know the Bulls dynasty, Phil Jackson, he rarely got up. He rarely yelled. He just looked at the team, and they kind of knew that, hey, we're messing up. He didn't have to say much of anything. He let the team perform. Now, I know Jordan helped, Scottie Pippen helped, but it's all a team, so their puzzle pieces had to play a part. I remember Luke Longley. Who the fuck is a Luke Longley? Tony Kukoc. Who the fuck is a Tony Kukoc?
Yeah.
Steve Kerr is even a good placement person, part of that team. They knew his strengths. They knew the weaknesses. So Jordan gave Kerr the ball, and Kerr made a winning shot because nobody was looking at Kerr.
Yeah, exactly. And Jordan knew, hey, everyone's eyes gonna be on me. So if I drive and dish out to Kerr, I know Kerr can knock down that shot. He's done it a million times in practice, and I'm gonna give him a wide open shot. Boom, boom. There it went. They won the game. Boom, they won the championship. Now look at, and then Steve Kerr's famous speech at the parade or whatever when Michael Jordan said, oh, I can't make this shot, so Steve, I got to give you the ball. Yeah, whatever, but they all know, like, Phil Jackson could have drawn up that play, but he didn't have to. The team knew how to draw up their own damn play to get somebody open to capitalize on their strengths.
Well, even looking at Steve Kerr, everyone kind of knows Steve Kerr because of Golden State Warriors. Let's take someone that people really don't know. What's his name? John Paxson?
Yep.
Was it a game? I think it was a game-winning shot. John Paxson made a game-winning shot. Now, the team knew his strengths and weaknesses. So the spot he was on the floor, they knew that was a strong spot for him to shoot from. So they set it up to where he was going to get a strong shot from that one spot on the floor. That's because the team knew the strengths and weaknesses as a group dynamic.
Yeah, and now, and to just show the opposite side of that, Russell Westbrook on the Los Angeles Lakers. He's coming off the bench, and people are he took a shot just recently because they fell to like 0-4, 0-5, whatever it was. And even the announcers, like, Russ pulled up drove and tried to pull up from like the elbow. So he pulled up, outside the basket area where you really want to try to make a 2-point shot. And he had like 2 or 3 people open right behind him because everyone was collapsing on him. And even the announcer's like, "Don't shoot it, Russ, no!" And then he shot it, and they, of course, missed the shot. And I was like, that's a person who doesn't know his teammates' strengths or doesn't believe his teammates can make those shots that need to be made.
Right. And that's why people are kind of giving him shit. But that's fine. I think he found his own as a 6 man. Is he picking up his game?
Yeah, they finally won a game with him coming off the bench and kind of getting that kick in the ass.
Yeah. I haven't watched much basketball this week. I was busy.
That's fair. But, those are, everything changes. You look at quarterback for football, those football people out there. You get the Tom Brady's, the Peyton Mannings, you get the Kyler Murrays or the Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts. The Eagles are 7-0. They haven't lost a game yet. 8-0.
Yeah,
and it's
fucking amazing.
Yeah, and it's whatever they are at this moment. I don't even know. But the coach has drawn up these plays where he has an option: run the ball, hand it off, or pass the ball. And he looks at what the defense is giving him, and the coach is trusting him to make a decision and make the right play. And sure as shit, it's been working out for him so far because he's made those right decisions. He's pulled the ball, passed it down, 20-yard gain, boom, got a first down. Let's keep marching the ball down the road.
And all that stems from building trust within your team.
Yep. Absolutely. The high-performing team is one that all they need is maybe a direction. I am a super fan of asking the dumb questions when I'm leading a team because they will come to me and they're like, "Hey, we cannot do this," and I'm like, "Okay, yeah, hey boss, we can't turn on this computer. Have you checked to make sure it was plugged in?" No, we didn't even do that. We were making sure the monitors were on. We made sure everything else. We didn't even check to see the plug was in the computer. They get so focused on the bigger details, that the weirder problems, that they didn't even think that the most simplest answer is the right one. Occam's razor. Have you checked to see if it's plugged in? Oh, fuck. Nope. Hey, it's plugged in, but I did find out that the power strip wasn't on. Ah, weird.
Yeah.
Okay. Have you tried turning on the power strip? All right. Well, you guys apparently got it. I'm going to leave now. Hey, boss, we got the computer on. Good job.
I'm just going to say that sounds familiar. I'm just saying that sounds familiar.
Weird. Yeah. Weird, right? I always preface it. I'm going to ask the dumb question. Have you done this? And people are, yep. I checked it. And I'm like, cool. Do you mind if I check it? No. See, it's plugged in, but it's not plugged in all the way. You see that silver still sticking out there? And how it's barely like hanging in there? Yeah. Boop. Yeah. Try it out.
All right. So let's see. We talked about Ash. Did we talk about our final third? Of course not.
Of course not. It's almost. I'm almost there, but I'll let you go first, and I'll be able to talk about it.
Let's do a recap. So we talked about ash, mineral content of that ash, the importance of the ash, all about that ash.
Ash.
Some stupid uses for ash. Tooth powder.
Yeah.
Tooth fucking powder. We talked about a high performance team. Kind of what does that look like? Why do we even want a high performance team? Who wouldn't want a high performance team?
I don't know why you would want a high performance team.
But I mean, all said and done, smoking my cigar, getting near the end. The pepper is back. It's not as strong as the start. Wood is cedar. It definitely has a woodsy taste to it, and it's definitely cedar. And on the very back undertone is that sweetness. It's not profound sweetness, but it's there. And the saltiness of the peanut is now more of a nutty than salty.
Okay. I'm getting into my final third, and root beer. Root beer, and it like an earthy, like a Barks root beer with there's the earthy and a sweetness. It just reminds me of like a Barks root beer, and maybe like a chocolate on the back end.
Barks root beer. That's a good one.
It's what because it's earthy, but it's sweet and a little bit tangy. Kind of reminds you of like a licorice type thing. It's good. It's very good.
I get it. I am 100% down. Black Market, Alec Bradley.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah.
Box 5 or 1?
5 for sure. I don't know that I'd do a box, but 5. If the price was right, if I had to pay $50 for a box, sure. Box of 10, yeah, sure, why not? You know, who wouldn't buy at that price? Box being, what's a box worth? Probably 100. Yeah, box of 24 runs 190.
Yeah, close to 2.
It's right around 2. I don't think I'd pay that price. I'd definitely buy a pack of 5 for about $50 or so. You know, I think I got this on a deal for like $20 or $30. I'm not mad. I'm not mad that I have 5 of these.
All right. Mine is definitely for me, because some people probably love the flavor profile. I'm not a huge fan of the cayenne pepper or the black pepper at the end, so I definitely wanted to. I wouldn't get a 5-pack of these for myself.
Yeah. Okay, that's fair. But yeah, I think this was a great conversation because you know, the high performance team, it doesn't happen by accident. If it, like I said, if it does, congrats to you, sir and or ma'am. You know, you somehow managed to fumble your way through it. But to me, a high performance team is not just one that happens by accident.
Correct. All right. Well, this has been a great episode of Leadership of the Leaf, and maybe some Tennessee players could listen to it.
Learn how to light the damn cigars on the right side.
And until next time, I'm Dice.
And I'm Austin.
Thank you for listening to Leadership of the Leaf. The comments and opinions expressed by the host and guests does not reflect the opinions of those that broadcast this show, nor does it reflect any of our affiliates.